objective when there are some pressures from elsewhere as well. So the adversarial system in itself creates for quite a lot of these contentions and that scrutiny, especially when you go into the courtroom. Forensic psychiatrists must be prepared to defend every finding or diagnosis made. And in the court, prepare to be annoyed. And sometimes under cross-examination, when you do want to take cover and sink into a hole, there's going to be criticism, right? The sharing of pontifications that no one wants to hear. Another difficult one, and this is where the self-awareness part comes in, is dealing with your own psychiatric colleagues. This is where one of the problems is that it's easy to start to take things personally. The analogy I have to that is that if this is the game of rugby, expect to be tackled and don't complain. That is part of the adversarial system. But I will say that it is sometimes a difficult thing commenting on others' opinions and having your opinion commented on and reading those opinions, conflicting opinions. Beware of the emotional reactions that you have, and also beware the tendency to gossip sometimes. So, once you formulate your opinion, it is likely that your psychiatric colleague from the other side, so to speak, may actually comment on that opinion, and your reaction may be sometimes that of shock, or flabbergasted. But the emotional part is the reminder that you're getting too excited. Calm down, bro, right? And just understand that it has to do with another opinion. Now, I didn't have a slide on this, but I'll comment on the fact that when I first started out, I tried to do the part about the range of psychiatric opinions. In all my reports, I put in there, the range of psychiatric opinions include, and because I really thought that objective is the best. So I had my own psychiatric opinion, and then the range of psychiatric opinions tells you all the differential diagnoses. And I spent quite a lot of time doing that. I confess that I do that less nowadays. Because what I had hoped to be this great objective expert witness opinion has on many occasions been turned around against me. Because in the opposing affidavit, it will say, but Dr. Phone said that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's almost as if I wrote the report for the other person. That's how I feel, and maybe we can talk about that. I still do try and put that whole thing, but I admit that I'm not as detailed in terms of explaining why the range of conflicting opinions could be X, Y, Z. Occasionally, you may be cornered to actually accept an error, or because new facts have come in. And I would say that that requires you to be having a certain sense of humility to accept that we can all be wrong. After all, apologies are the order of the day. Right? So, if you are caught, so-called caught in court, you've had to concede a point, no problem. Right? Explain why. Actually, just last week I was caught because for an old thing. Actually, I was quite proud of myself. I thought that in administering the MMSE to this Hokkien uneducated lady, that I used the lunar calendar instead. Yeah, and she gave me what I thought was the right answer until I was rather embarrassed when the lawyers actually checked that the answer was wrong, and I gave her correct. They had subpoenaed my notes, so it was -1 for me in the MMSE. So, in the court proceedings, if you've got to concede a point, just admit the error, move on. Okay, in the interest of time, I'll just end by saying that I'm hopeful that there will be alternatives to the primarily adversarial system that we have. I've had 2 occasions where I've had that tested. One was a case that we had last week on a will matter, where instead of both sides looking for their own independent experts. The two sides' lawyers in the family court agreed that they would choose two people, and we would do our opinions, one geriatrician and myself, and we would actually provide that opinion. Idealism aside, unfortunately, I still felt that the grilling that I was given by one side whose opinions they didn't like was still pretty much the same. I've yet to see the verdict on that, but that's one case. Another case is one that did reach the newspapers, but unfortunately before the three of us were able to sit down and do the conjoint examination, the lady died. So we didn't get to do that. But I think we are reaching a point where perhaps we may not have that situation of two colleagues, one calling it a square and one calling it a circle in court. Okay, I'll end here. Thank you.